This is Defense Domain, your source for strategic insight on global security, defense systems, and geopolitical risk. This is the weekly strategic brief. Week 10 covers the period from March 7 to March 13, 2026. This week marks a rapid expansion of the Iran war beyond its initial battlefield. The conflict is generating global protests and coordinated cyber campaigns. At the same time, disruptions in Gulf airspace are affecting international aviation routes. Western and allied forces are increasing defensive deployments across the region. Energy chokepoints and maritime pressure are beginning to affect global markets. From a strategic perspective, three structural dynamics are shaping the environment. First, the horizontal expansion of conflict across multiple domains. Second, the industrialization of warfare. Third, the fragmentation of alliance systems. Turning to the strategic overview, the Iran war is no longer confined to a single theater. Missile strikes, drones, cyber operations, and infrastructure attacks are expanding its impact. Aviation routes, maritime corridors, and energy systems are all being disrupted. At the same time, the Ukraine war is accelerating the industrialization of warfare. Military operations are increasingly targeting production facilities and logistics networks. Industrial capacity is becoming central to sustaining high-intensity conflict. Alliance structures are also evolving. Gulf states are reassessing security guarantees. European and Indo-Pacific partners are relying more on flexible arrangements. China is expanding its diplomatic role in regional crises. Modern warfare is shifting toward infrastructure targeting. Energy depots, desalination plants, aviation networks, and maritime chokepoints are now operational targets. This extends the impact of conflict across economic and societal systems. Turning to regional conflict dynamics. Within 2 weeks, the Iran war has expanded into a multi-theater confrontation. Missile activity has reached between 25 and over 30 strike waves. Maritime disruption is increasing, with more than 16 commercial vessels damaged or attacked. Over 200 tankers have been halted or rerouted near the Strait of Hormuz. The conflict now spans 6 to 7 operational theaters. More than 12 countries are directly affected. The conflict is entering a sustained operational phase. It began with leadership targeting and immediate missile retaliation. It expanded across maritime, proxy, and cyber domains. Regional actors are now reinforcing defensive deployments. Recent developments highlight structural shifts. Initial decapitation strikes have transitioned into broader systemic pressure. Energy systems and infrastructure are becoming primary targets. Geographic containment is weakening. Operational linkages across multiple regions are increasing. Proxy warfare is expanding. Indirect actors are shaping the conflict without triggering direct escalation. Turning to key operational developments. Iran has stabilized its wartime leadership structure. Command consolidation indicates preparation for sustained conflict rather than rapid de-escalation. Iraq is re-emerging as an active proxy theater. Drone strikes have targeted U.S. diplomatic facilities and coalition-linked bases. These incidents increase pressure without direct interstate confrontation. Near Turkey, missile interception activity and reinforcement of northern Cyprus highlight risks along NATO's southeastern flank. This indicates growing spillover beyond the immediate conflict zone. European naval deployments are increasing in the eastern Mediterranean. Carrier groups and destroyers are being deployed to protect maritime routes and infrastructure. NATO is reinforcing missile defense and operational support systems. Air defense deployments and surveillance capabilities are expanding. In the Ukraine war, industrial targeting is increasing. Strikes on missile production facilities highlight the importance of degrading defense industry capacity. Turning to energy and maritime security. The Strait of Hormuz remains a central strategic choke point. Mine warfare risks and selective disruption strategies are shaping maritime dynamics. Iran appears to be applying selective maritime coercion. Its own exports continue while rival shipping is disrupted. This creates volatility without full closure of the strait. Even the perception of mine threats is affecting markets. Shipping costs and insurance rates are rising. Commercial vessel attrition is increasing. By March 11, at least 16 ships had been damaged or targeted. This reflects a cumulative strategy against maritime commerce. Regional navies are expanding escort missions. Efforts are focused on protecting shipping and maintaining energy flows. Critical energy nodes remain vulnerable. Facilities such as Karg Island are central to export capacity. Any sustained disruption could trigger global price shocks. Turning to hybrid threats. Cyber operations are expanding beyond government targets. Civilian infrastructure, including private sector systems, is now being targeted. Coordinated cyber campaigns are focusing on communication platforms used by officials and media. At the same time, global protest movements are emerging. Narrative competition is shaping domestic responses to the conflict. Turning to defense technology and industry. Iranian naval losses are altering the maritime balance in the Gulf. However, asymmetric capabilities remain. Battlefield innovation is spreading beyond Ukraine. Drone technologies and operational expertise are being transferred across regions. Defense industrial mobilization is accelerating. High munition consumption is increasing pressure on production capacity. Allied drone production networks are expanding. Joint production agreements are integrating innovation into broader industrial systems. Turning to global power competition. European states are taking on a greater operational role. Burden sharing within Western security structures is increasing. NATO is reinforcing deterrence across multiple regions, including the Arctic. Russia is rebuilding conventional military capacity. This raises long-term concerns about force regeneration. China is expanding its role as a crisis mediator. Its involvement in South Asia reflects growing strategic influence. In the Indo-Pacific, security partnerships are deepening. Flexible, minilateral frameworks are becoming more prominent. Turning to future conflict dynamics. Infrastructure is becoming central to modern warfare. Energy, water, and fuel systems are directly targeted. This creates environmental risks and humanitarian pressure. From a cross-domain perspective, several patterns are emerging. Battlefield innovation is rapidly transferring across regions. Environmental systems are increasingly targeted. Maritime coercion is being applied selectively. Proxy warfare is expanding through indirect actors. Looking ahead to next week. Possible Iranian mine deployment in the Strait of Hormuz will be closely monitored. The operational status of Iran's new leadership will remain critical. Romania's decisions on surveillance deployments will be important. Further NATO deployments in the Middle East are possible. The spread of drone warfare technologies will continue to be tracked. Developments in China's mediation efforts in South Asia will also be observed. This was the Defense Domain Weekly Strategic Brief. For more in-depth analysis, visit defensedomain.com. Stay informed. Stay strategic.